It was the summer of 2019. My father was out of town for work, leaving just my mother, my little sister, and me at home. Our house wasn't particularly old, nor did it have any history of strange occurrences. But that night, something changed. Evening had set in. The sun had just begun to dip below the horizon, casting long shadows inside the house. My mother and I were in the kitchen, chatting casually as she prepared dinner. From where we stood, we had a clear view of the washroom door. If someone entered, we would see them. Suddenly, I heard the thudding sound of running. My little sister, just 6 years old, came sprinting down the hallway and rushed into the washroom, slamming the door shut behind her. My mother and I exchanged glances, but thought nothing of it. Kids can be careless with doors. Minutes passed, then 10, then 20. The house was silent except for the sound of oil sizzling in the pan. It was only when I casually said, "What's taking her so long?" My mother said to go check on her, her voice carrying an unusual edge of concern. I walked up to the washroom door and hesitated for a moment before knocking. No response. I knocked again, harder this time. "Hey, are you okay?" Still nothing. An odd sensation crept up my spine. Slowly, I reached for the doorknob and turned it. To my horror, the door swung open effortlessly. The light inside was off, and the bathroom? Empty. There was no sign of my sister. No footprints, nothing. The silence in that small space was deafening. My throat went dry. I turned back and hurried to my mother, my heart pounding against my ribs. "Mom, she's not there." My mother's face went pale. "That's not possible." "We both saw her go in," my mother said. Dread settled in my stomach like a heavy stone. I rushed to my sister's room, almost stumbling in my panic. I flung the door open, and there she was, fast asleep. Her tiny body was curled up under the blanket, breathing softly, peacefully, as if she'd been there for hours. My chest tightened. Cold sweat formed on my forehead. Slowly, I walked closer and shook her lightly. "Hey, did you go to the bathroom?" She stirred, blinked, and looked up at me with drowsy confusion. "What?" she mumbled. "Did you go there?" She frowned, rubbing her eyes. "Why would I? I have my own bathroom." I staggered back, my legs suddenly weak. My mother, standing at the doorway, gasped softly. We both saw her run into the washroom. So, if my sister had been asleep the whole time, who did we see? And then, from the lower floor, we heard the bathroom door creak open, very slowly, as if someone was just stepping out. My heart stopped for a second. I turned to my mom. "Who is this? Someone is playing with us." We both rushed to the bathroom again. The lights were on. The door was open again. I was sure I had closed it before. Summoning my courage, I steadied myself and pushed the door open. Nothing. The fear was real. That night, we all slept in my little sister's room. I couldn't sleep, and for weeks afterward, none of us ever spoke about it. Nothing ever happened again.